Let's get an analysis now on that referendum in Egypt, and we're joined live from our Cairo studios by Ahmed Naguib, a board member with the National Committee for Defense of Civil Liberties and Rights. Ahmed, thank you very much. Now, voter turnout may have been less than 50%, but there are all indications the new constitution will get a pass. What is the general take, though, on the law? Is it a good law?
Well, definitely there are major improvements in many areas, such as the health area, some improvements in education, but the Constitution fails to deliver on major improvements in the civil rights area and the separation of powers and authorities and check and balances. We have major infringement on the rights of the citizens and freedom of expression, and there's also an infringement of the statehood itself by a very deep state, militarized state, giving the military a supra status in the Constitution above elected officials. So this law, or the Constitution itself, does not really aspire to meet the expectations of Egyptians after two revolutions or two waves of the revolution.
All right. Well, Ahmed, it has been protest after protest, though, for Egypt in the last 2 years. And those who voted yes will argue that this could help Egypt return to stability. Is that the general perception?
Definitely. This is the third referendum since 19th of March in 2011 and the sixth election that took place in all those 3 years. In every single referendum and election, the state media always broadcasted that those elections are very important to bring stability. And in every single election afterwards, we have seen more violence and more escalation on the streets. We have not seen any stability. But stability is the key word that Egyptians have been looking for. A lot of the middle class have suffered a lot. A lot of those working class in Egypt and those who are 50% of the population are on the poverty line have been delusionally seeking some sort of stability that they have not been getting throughout the 3 years. We see a re-emergence of the deep state, of the Mubarak state, with new faces such as General Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. So it was 3 years of collective punishment from the deep state towards the people, so that they come at a point when they say, good old Mubarak days. Now those days are about to come again, where people will cast the votes for Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, General Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, so that he can bring them the kind of expectations they've had throughout 30 years of Mubarak rule.
All right. But Ahmed, looking at the generally positive turnout there, though, do you agree with suggestions that the large voter turnout is probably a vote of confidence, though, on the military and an endorsement on General al-Sisi to run for office?
Yes. Yes. Well, first of all, it was not a huge turnout. There were, compared to the referendums that took place since 2011, this is the least of all the turnouts of all elections taking place since 2011. We have a boycott from the Muslim Brotherhood. We have a boycott from other revolutionary movements. So the turnout was quite meager compared to previous elections. Now, consistently, those who've been voting for stability, or those who've been voting for the former regime in terms of candidacy for presidency, such as those who were voting for Shafi, were mostly the ones who turned out in the polling stations. There have also been a lot of people who are just out of plain fear from terrorist attacks, believe in that the military is the only institution that can bring stability. That's why it was more of a vote of confidence rather than the content of the Constitution. Now, definitely, this Constitution currently lies as an ink on a paper, so law enforcement and implementation of this Constitution has to take place. According to this Constitution, many of the laws that was passed by the temporary president should be annulled.
All right, Ahmed, we'll leave it there for the moment. Ahmed Naguib, a board member with the National Committee for Defense of Civil Liberties and Rights, joining us there from Cairo. Thank you.